in the opposition half, which I believe they could have done that over the period of time. They don't take chances, they don't take shots out of the box, which I believe that could help, because if the team is playing that deep like the Petro is playing, they stand a chance of conceding so many mistakes, errors in the box.
Kumuza, talk me through this. This is the decision.
Now, the key here is what the referee is looking at. He's looking at Themba Zwane. Is Themba Zwane in control of the ball? The answer is yes, because Themba Zwane is still able to make a pass. Is Kinto does Kinto touch the ball, or does he touch Themba Zwane? When you're looking at that moment, the referee sees that Kinto touches Themba Zwane and he does not touch the ball. Therefore, it's a foul in the box.
It's a penalty. It's a foul in the box. Talk me through the process of who takes a penalty at Sundowns, because we saw Lyle, we thought he was going to take it. We saw Themba Zwane walking away from the ball at some point. He didn't seem like he was going to take it. What's the conversation there?
Well, we all know Themba has been taking the penalties for Mamelodi Sundowns in the past seasons. But looking at the reaction after getting the penalty, I don't think he was ready to take that penalty. I saw Lyle Kelly was so confident to take the penalty. He even put the ball on the spot to show that he wanted to take it. And of course, we all trusted Themba that he's going to bury that one.
Themba Zwane in that Sundowns team, there's probably no other player that you think in a moment like this, give it to.
Set piece specialist in set plays is Lyle K. Lyle K, as soon as the penalty happens, Lyle K takes the ball. That's the confidence of a player that wants to take the ball, or that wants to take the set play. That is the penalty in this instance.
Yeah.
And when you look at it, look at Lyle K. He lets it ball and fully shy the penalty. This ball again, that is the confidence. Now, in all of this, you can see that
Zwane tries to get it from him.
It's in that instance, Themba Zwane is walking away. Now it's a discussion between Lebu Mabue and Lyle K. Lebu Mabue says, no, Ngimnandi chance. Themba agrees. You see Themba nodding, go back. Look at Themba approving Mabue. He picks up his hand, yes, Themba Zwane. Yes, that's Themba Zwane.
Themba, is that possibly the conversation?
For sure. Looking at Themba, the way, look at this facial expression, doesn't tell you that he's confident enough to take that penalty. You can tell that he's under pressure. He thinks too much about the incident, that he's just okay in a VAR. So for him to even step up, you can't win penalty and even take it. You're still under pressure. You're still in the motion of trying to rectify everything that has happened. So looking at the way Lyle, like I said, he was very confident. He went to take the ball and put it on the spot.
You also see Andile Jali trying to give him courage. Andile Jali goes to speak to him just before he takes that penalty. And what I love is everybody walks away. Peter Shalulile is the only player that goes and gives him a hug and gives him a rub at the back and says, "You are still our superstar."
But that's what I want to know.
Where's the captain?
Where's
the senior players?
He goes into the dressing room now.
He goes into the dressing room now.
The coaches are there. The rest of the players are there. Can they pick Themba Zwane up in that dressing room? A dressing room, players that you played with.
Yeah, we need Dennis Onyango. We need the senior players like Kennedy Mwene to come in and step and make sure that they lift Themba up. This is the moment where we're gonna need Themba. This is the second half. We need a goal. We can't play like we did in the first half, where we create chances but we don't take. Pumuzo said it about the ball position, that we have been dominating the game, to be honest, but in wrong areas. We don't hurt the opposition. So make sure that the opposition worry about you in terms of threatening their box as often. So with Andile Jali being on the ball all the time doesn't mean he's hurting the opposition. He needs to step in front of the two midfielders or two strikers, just to head them, make them worry about you, make the Ralanis and the Lebu to be in the box as often as.
I'd love to talk about Ralani and how he's been in the first 45 minutes there. But let's take a look at attempts there by Sundowns, starting in the 7th minute here. Pedro doing something we didn't see them doing in that first game, playing the ball out from the back.
That's very risky.
He might have missed the penalty. He created the penalty. Look at how Themba Zwane starts the pressing for Mamelodi Sundowns. He's the trigger in this moment. Themba Zwane is the man closest to the ball. He's going to press the ball. He wins the ball back. obviously sees Peter Shalulile in a good position. He gives him that ball, unselfish. From Temba to say, Peter Shalulile, Gianni Nile, Noni Avera and Taplate, Gianni Nile, Hangola Shalulile, the Mishumo Yani, the Mishumo Temba Zwani, pressing traps, who can win a bottom row, who can nature Shalulile. Give the ball to your teammate in a better position.
Well, let's take a look at the 16th minute now. It's still all Sundowns attack. Shompo, talk us through this here. It's Sundowns here once again in attack, this time coming from the wings, which we didn't see a lot of. Shalulile has been the man that's been a thorn perhaps here.
And there's a lot of positive from Mamelodi Sundowns. They've got numbers in the box. And they're threatening the box by putting numbers in the box. The only challenge, which I believe they need to rectify in the second half, is to take shots at goal. Because, look, you're still building even when you are in the opposition box. Why are you building from the back? You're building to get into the opposition box and score goals. But when you're in the box, make sure that you bury those. Of course, those are not clear chances. We're talking about half chances. Yeah. In a game of this nature, you have to take those small chances.
Well, you speak about game of half chances and the fluidity of our Sundowns and how we know the match play is going to be better allocated to this right here. It's a long move that we know Sundowns for, the penetrative pass that they've been looking for.
That's the penetrative pass. That's the width that is given by Ulaila K in that instance. You need to give credit for, in this time, to Morena, who fights to get the ball back. Look at the key positioning of Temba Zwani. That's where you want your number 10. You want your number 10 behind your number 9. Now they are all focusing on Peter Shalulile. There's a pocket that is opening just in front of where Peter Shalulile is. A delightful ball that is brought in. Temba Zwani, not known for headering the ball, but he goes for the jackknife technique. We've showed 3 moments now. Temba Zwani is involved in all 3 moments, which is in good areas of the pitch. That's why Uthompo is saying, Andile Jali, get closer into the midfield. Feed more balls to Peter Shalulile. Feed more balls to Temba Zwani, and that's how the opposition will be at. Every time Temba Zwani was involved, Mamelodi Sundowns looked dangerous.
That was better from Mamelodi Sundowns, Anile, to see Laila K crossing the ball. Did you see who ended up receiving the ball at the back post? It's Tapelo. Those are 2 fullbacks who are already in their opposition half, which I believe they are so aggressive, and they need Andile to stabilize the midfield. This is the moment where they penetrated them.
This is a different moment. Oh, this is later on in the 25th minute later on, which was also coming from the Peter Shalulile fighting a lot there, Shombo.
You need to take chances, Andile. Look at this is a half chance. For me, you should try to bury this one, because you are in the box. You are in a small box to say, no, here, try to hit the goalkeeper. You never know. This is the moment where you desperately looking for that one chance.
Yeah.
And you can't get it if you're playing against that 10 men when we are there in a half trying to block the box. So when you are like that, take those shots on target.
Let me ask you this. At the beginning of the match, we spoke about Iskia. Nas, Temba Zwani. But we also spoke about Temba Zwani as playing partner, because you need fluid of player. You need to unlock a defense that we knew was going to be sitting back.
Yeah.
How's Zalani done?
I think in terms of hitting the opponents, nothing happened in the first half. We have not seen Ralani finding spaces in between the lines. We have not seen Ralani finding spaces in the pockets. We have not seen Ralani making small tries, creating angles to receive, creating angles to be able to feed to Peter Shalulile. He's not consistent enough. We're seeing him for 5 minutes. He disappears for 10 minutes. You need constantly to be fiddling with that defense of Petro. And he has not done that in the first half.
He's very quiet.
All right, so we're going to take a break because I want to hear what you have to say about changes that you could possibly make for the second half. The fans are there. There they are. They're Miss Mamelodi Sundowns contestants supporting their team. Mama Pagania saying, tomorrow, please do the favor. And you can see Chiefs are saying, "Asna coach, got us corner." Let's take a break. When we come back on the other side, the commentators will also be available.
At Total Energies, we go the extra mile for you.
One expect anyone can get lucky.
Football
with a ball of a circumference of 70 centimeters. Studs. On a grass-covered field.
There's not only one football. There's not only one way to get closer to football.
Orange.
Re goroga jalo mo karolong ya bobedi ya motshameko motho wetso mme setlhopha sa Mamelodi Sundowns re bone mo nakong e fetileng ba dira sentle fa ba le mo gae mme setlhopha sa Petro de Luanda fa o lebelela metshameko ya bone e fetileng ba le mo tseleng ba etile ga ba dire sentle setlhopha se metshameko e le mene fela e ba e fentseng ba le mo leetong go tswa mo metshamekong e le 18 ke yone ba e fentseng fela e le mene gompieno re tla bona gore ba tla fetsa ka tselentseng jang Sundowns e tla tsweletsa metseletsele ya bona diphinyo ba ba le mo gae kgotsa setlhopha se sa Petro de Luanda ba tla tsweletsa le bone metshameko ya bone ya go ka se tshameke sentle ba ba se kwa gae Neo Maema Tapelo Morena seo se ra gore ba buela mo karolong ya bobedi ya motshameko ba tlile go ka tswelela fela fa ba feditseng gone metsotso e le mamane le botlhano ya bofelo metsotso e le somamane le botlhano ya bofelo bo maboye Peter Shalulile tsenya kopano ya bofelo tsenya ja kopano ya bofelo le tlhomilwe mo mpenya le bala ba tsereganye le bone ba tsena jalo mo lebaleng go ka tsweletsa jalo karolo ya bobedi ya motshameko monna wa naga ya Ethiopia Tesewesa thusana jalo le monna ka kwa nageng ya Sudan Ahmed Ibrahim ga mmogo le Frank Komba go tswa kwa nageng ya Tanzania eo ke panka ya Petro de Luanda nakong lengwe motshameko o tla bo simologa kama mo mpenya le bala metsotso e le somamane le botlhano ya bofelo jaanong a di tlo go bona ntwa ya kgapamadi tshega e tlo go fopoga fa e nnang gone kgangkgang e tlo go jang kgawane go tlile go nna makgapila mo metsotsong e le somamane le botlhano ya bofelo ba itse ba ratile balatedi ba Sundowns gore go tlile go nna thata jaanong no e lengwe fela ya Mamelodi Sundowns e ka ba thusa go fetela kwa legatong le latelang la kgaisano ye mme no e le nosie go tswa mo letlhakoreng la Petro de Luanda e tla be dira mathata a Sundowns go ya kwa pele Sundowns e tla be tshwanela ke go nosa no di le pedi kgotsa go feta ba ba nosa no di le pedi re ya kwa nakong e okeditsweng kgotsa ka tlhamalo kwa di-penalty jaaka le motshameko wa magato a le mabedi ke a solofela ga ba le ba jalo kwa di-penalty ka le bone Andile Jali Brian Mandela sekono wa Matatiele fela ba senya kgwele Mamelodi Sundowns re tologa jalo kwa morago ka lekawana la Kinito romela letele kwa pele fela ga go pe wa Petro e be wala mo tseleng ya ka tennis Onyango wale ba tennis Brian Onyango Andile Jali Eba siya eto la ka kwa ntle kgwele a bone Wellington Gomez wale ba Wellington Romela Tula ka tlhogo ba khona go dira ditšhono Sundowns fela sebetsa phiri ga ba khone go nosa. Bona le kawana la Afonso re bone Sundowns tsereganyo ka phoso go go tswa karata fa go go tswa karata go khitalo Thembazwane Kineto Balanga by Thoma Khile Mamelodi Sundowns. Delilah K range. Delilah K range. By Thoma fa adiraga mbotoka go ne Delilah K. Badira le bota kwa morago Mamelodi Sundowns aromela tlhaselo Petro di Luanda badira le bota a re bone Laila K wa lebela Laila wa goga ya boemelela Afrika Borwa ya boemelela FNB Kabuyelo Anosano ye botlhokwa Mamelodi Sundowns ke gore le kare Delilah K range Delilah K range a gogela K a sireletsa kwa morago bona yo le wa Wellington Gomez ya kopana le Plan Mandela Onyango a tsapileo a yatlanya le letloa 1 menwana phezulu Mamelodi Sundowns and no lotoposa Petro di Luanda. Anosano ebo tokwa Sundowns. Anosano ebo tokwa Mamelodi Sundowns. Me pele gore kesemo se motshameko fela jana Sundowns ya go makaule kwa sika makaula kanye. One Sundowns. Arbone Kumarago Canairo Abarutwe Tajano Bona Petro Agutibukacha Arbone Petro di Luanda Bale ka go lwa jaanong Canelo Bale bela Canelo Bale ka go ya ga go kwa pele a re bone fela sireletsa kwa morago ka boyelo Neo Maemo Tepela More Canelo Kana thata fa Khana kwa morago Sandawana Romela jalo mo Thembazwane tsingalo kwa morago Balanga gore le kare ga ba dire sentle fa ba letile Romela Reuck sireletsa kwa morago Mandela Reuck Eta Laila K Tingalo to Yano Tingalo to Yano Awe tlosa kwa morago kulia Ibao baratile balatiri ba Sundowns bana kwitle go tsamaya ka bonya Kile go tsamaya ka bonya nako ka fala tlhakore la Mamelodi Sundowns Andile Jali. Usa Balanga. Surprise. Serganyar play on. Yano. Thiago. Baleka. Ela Sundowns hapa. Ya khana kwa morao. Bona pele ba Rumela. Kita sikutu. Kile kona tata ike. Dennis Onyango. Leka hurula kanya chalo. Lemo rakola se tropa. Rebone Rumela. Antaka lepa kosola de tene. Luanda Petro. Rumela kape mo lepa kosong. Kenno. Yabe roba di pelo. Yabe roba di pelo tabarati libala tedi. Mamelodi Sundowns. Fela kitiba wipi later. One Mamelodi Sundowns. One Petro de Luanda. Etatoka litro la bubedi. Manataka ba Rumela. Tulaga Togo. Abai Feleleta. Kinito Balanga. Akubona leba mokhumile. Akubona leba mokhumile. Akete. Reuck VAR. Tela. Akete ora VAR. Balanga monosi wano. Tatu sadi puo. Dennis Onyango. Obuela kwa dikotenga. Huiwa kwa VAR. Huiwa kwa VAR. Claudia, do you think he was pushed?
Look, I don't think Onyango had full control of that. I don't think so. Initially, if you look at it, the ball ricochets off his hand, but then we see the hand of Pedro Pinto there in the thick of things, moving Dennis Onyango's hand. So I'm not sure.
Adebone, Materaganyi wa kuthathu etho. Hasem no, it's not a goal. Sundowns still on the driving seat. Kineto. What like you no. Fela, one Sundowns. And not as Copasa. Not as Copasa, Petro Luanda. The show goes on.
Indeed, the show goes on, and Mamelodi Sundowns living rather dangerously. For Dennis Onyango, he'll certainly have to thank his lucky stars. That was pretty close. But Mamelodi Sundowns will need that insurance goal as the Total Energies CAF Champions League continues at the FNB Stadium. 1-0, and the goal that separates the two sides is that of Brian Mandela Onyango. Came into the side and to use his physical battle and needs to stand firm. He has a chance for Pedro. Down he goes. It's Gleason, and the referee is not having none of it. And they are now asking for VAR to come to the rescue. They would believe that they are hot done by, and referee Tesema Baumark will have to have control of this match. Oh no, nothing wrong with that. Charlie was already sliding, and if you look at Gleason trying to definitely be selfish, unsportsmanlike, unacceptable behavior. Sundowns need to get that insurance goal to take the game away. This team definitely does look like it has a game in them. For coach Alexandra Miguel dos Santos, he'll be asking himself, what more should we do? Two big moments that had to go to VAR, not in their favor. Onyango. See, Andy Lejali will also have to really just step up a little. Need to more players threatening in the box. They need to they are getting the numbers, but they definitely going to be on the receiving end, as Petro will want to impose in this match. A lot of, in the first half, we saw a lot of slipping and sliding of the players on the park, and that's just due to the rain that we have had over the past couple of days. You can still see the pitch is rather moist or muddy. Seems like referees waiting for the decision from VAR for that challenge by Andy Lejali, but he looks very confident. Jali went down and slid, and you got to see a Gleason throwing himself all over Andy Lejali, but the decision will come through, and that will be made fair. Sundowns still in the lead, and all they need is the one goal to get through. When you look at these teams in the last three in head-to-heads, they've played 3 times, of which Mamelodi Sundowns have won 1, and Petro have won 1 with 1 draw. We've seen 6 goals that have been scored. Petro, Atletico, Petro playing against Wydad, playing against Salgada. They also played against Zamalek. To get to this particular point, Sundowns was next. They're looking for a place in the semi-finals. Setif is in the finals, in the semi-finals, and so is Al Ali. Tomorrow we will see Wydad and Valzudad. They will be battling it out to see who else joins the two. And after today's fixture, we will have 3 teams that will be in the semi-final stage. It has been a long battle. We've seen in the first leg 7 goals were scored. In the second leg, we've seen 4 goals, including this of Mamelodi Sundowns. We spoke about the crucial moments of the 45th to 60th minute, in which Mamelodi Sundowns do tend to press the juggler. 67% of their goals. In actual fact, it's 11% of the balls, of their goals being scored around about this time. For Petro, 75th to 90th minutes, 17% thereof. This decision is taking very, very long. Andy Lejali, what is it going to be? Anxious moments. And you look at the top scorers for Sundowns. Morena's on 3, Shalulile on 3, Zwane on 3, Lekay on 2, Erasmus, and now we can add Onyango also with his goal. And when you look at Petro, it's Thiago with 6, Vinino with 3, Gleason is on 2, and Yano on 2. Jaredi also got a goal to his name. So they've got goal scorers amongst them. Go to their domestic league, still topping the standings after 23 matches that they've played. They've got 58 points. They've got 58 points. The decision has been given, and it's a penalty in favor of Petro. At least the coach Alexandra would say these are moments to smile about, and there's been a lot of deliberation, and the longer the decision took was certainly not going to favor Mamelodi Sundowns. But look, they've got the decision. The next point is to now beat Onyango. Currently, the aggregate score is at 2-2. Does Onyango pull out his best? Need players outside the box, no encroaching. You need the players for Mamelodi Sundowns to be alert. It is a big moment for Dennis Onyango. A big moment to rescue Mamelodi Sundowns. It is the captain, Thiago Leao, up against Dennis Onyango. Thiago against Onyango. Thiago against Onyango, and he's beaten. A much needed goal. Thiago Leao brings Petro level in this particular match, but they then lead 3-2 on aggregate. Thiago Leao levels the score on the day. That is the challenge. Andile Jali was on the ground. Onyango went the one way and Thiago went the other. Very well taken penalty. Fight is on. The battle is on. Best that can happen today for Mamelodi Sundowns is if they score yet another, we will then go straight into penalty shootouts. 2 goals to the good. 2-1, which will be the same scoreline that they were beaten away from home, will result in a penalty shootout. Big moments will be missed. You'll remember Peter Shalulile's goal Tapelo, the missed penalty by Themba Zwane. Plenty of time ahead for Sundowns. OJ, anxious moments for Atletico. Do they have the belief? Do they have the personnel to hold on? Yet to make a change on either side. Both coaches very, very anxious. Will hold on to the personnel on the park, but I think it's time to make those decisions, to make those changes.
Go diragala mo letsatsing la gompieno ba itiretse bolemo go nosa ka nago ka thago ya penalty fela Sundowns jaanong ba tshwanetse go ka kgaratha ka tsotlhe tse ba nang natso. Laila K wa romela sireletsa kwa morago, sireletsa Petro bona Chalo Jaredi fela ba itsenya loto Sundowns kgweleo ba itse Mamelodi Sundowns jaaka ba dira phetogo sa Franco surprise wa tswa Khalane le Sedi Kapine Themba Zwane wa tswa me go tsene jalo sa Franco Themba Zwane morago go fosa penalty go lebega a re teletswe ke go ka boela mo motshamekong fela a re bona gore Sundowns e tswelela jang. Laila K Esedi Onyango, Laila K. Isedi. Sireleta Kwamarago, Petro Luanda. Kennedy Pedi Molebalen. Isedi. And the legend. Laila K. Wako Balai. Ela Balakone Kwamarago Petro. Aba Sireleta Pileo, Chalaka Quante. Yago Petro Gona Kila Mamelodi Sundowns. Parale Matamiki wa Petro Luanda. Yoke tengo na kokako ya misifa. Bago motamela. Muna yo magatsinkara tso Luanda Makarlonyan Kacharedi. Ba Morwala. Arbone Canero, Wamakala Karate Surlana. Karata Yabobede, Yamakala Petro de Luanda. Bona Sundowns, Akokano, Hopatele Tamotameko, Hosafele Mumituting the Sumaro Pongwe. Hela, Arbone Batadian Sundowns, Etula Copele, Amatachalo Francoma, Hela Banacona Comaraco, Petro Wakutoka Pileo. Arbone Petro, Abai Cabelaga Quan Capilio. Arbone Lai, Arbone Sundowns, Akadira Singwefa, Elaba Hana Comarajo, and the legend. Onyango. Lesedi Kapinga. Kadira Parloga Lesedi. Lekaroba Kadima, Lekaroba Ruana Lesedi. Yano. Amma Papa Temazar Post. Attaque Miguel. Kokaiwa Poso. Mewi Lalinus. I remember the Televa Copele, Busa Comarago Sundowns, Arbone Petro, Antala Bagoso, Abahoja, Tula Comarago, I Bamutlenya Jaredi, I remember the Bagoso, Arbone, Leta Comarago Sundowns, Bakana Sundowns Comarago, Sensibana Letuno, Yago Patele Tamotameko. Oya kota kwenye penalty. Kana file kwa retela. Petro de Luanda. Basu kella fela jaga yesative. Let's go pass alakli. Way back again Palanga. Bandira kata chalo Petro. Jaredi watwa. Jaredi utwile. Ranko da Cruz. Ranko da Cruz. What's it? Matamiki wa Maloba Black Leopards. Lesedi Kapinga. Setele musimano mwenye. Nalebo kama sojo Patima. Bawa mkala karate. Simula kusinyana. Time wasting. Atago dirasa Petro. Casten Serrino. Leo Maema watu. Sundowns. Baleka Karata. Wellington Gomez. Serrino Tene. Kutsule Chalo Neo Maema utile Gaston Serinotin. White Closer. Wellington Gomez. Tulega Tlhoko kwa morago. Fela motseraganya re le kgorometsa. Karata e sorwana mogala ke Yano. Dr. Mokapteini Tiago. Ileli Munusi Wanno. Yana mogala karata. Tudile Jalo. Russian Reuck. Almane Sundowns. Bahia Tarla Gomez. Bahia Tarla Gomez William. Bahia Twisite. Romela Letelele. Dennis Onyango. Andy Lechan. Laila K. Serino. Matatiel Express. Russian Reuck. Bale Kagoya Mamelodi Sundowns. Kabuyelo, the Brazilians. Kana go lemoga ball possession. Bakwa go dingwana tlhopha sa Mamelodi Sundowns. Ba laula motshameko. Fela until one Sundowns. Until one Petro Luanda. Arboni. Khona ba go dira mo metsotsong re palama motsotso a bo soma supa le boraro. Soma supa le bone. Khona re palama metsotso le soma le borataro. 16 minutes to go. 16 minutes to go. Pele tla go dira Sundowns. Tshwanetse go dirisa nako eo. Ka pasa Petro di Luanda. Ba tshwanetse go ka sireletsa. A re bona Laila K gape. Ba go romela jang. Ba bone nne go tloga mo nnonye. O kgweleng ya tshwalie. Ba romela wa thoko. Russian Reuck. Semolla go dira diphetogo. Ba ne ba e rometse. Russian Reuck. A re tilelwa ke go e feleletsa. A diragatsa phetogo. Simao wa tsena. Yano wa tswa. Simao o tsene go tsule jalo monna yo wa o tsene jalo monna yo. Re bala metsotso le lesome le botlhano. Metsotso le soma supa le botlhano. 15 minutes. It's a lot of time in football club. Anything can happen from now on.
15 minutes is a lot of time for a team that is on the winning or on the brink of winning. 15 minutes is very little for a team that is fighting to change the status quo. Here's a chance for Petro on the edge of the box, in the box, taking on Mamelodi Sundowns. Throw in. Seri Kapinga helping out to make sure that they don't chew the clock. 3 changes made by Sundown, Serena Safranco, as well as Kapinga coming on for Swane, Maema and Ralani. Samau and the Cruz coming on for Petro, team from Luanda. Goalkeeper Onyango in the spotlight. Miguel Pedro. It's Safranco looking after Pedro Pinto into the hands of Onyango. This time he made sure that he smothers it. Serino who's been brought on. A lot of pressure to change the complexion of this match. Quina off his bench. Is this yet another moment? Sundowns finding themselves in a spot of bother. The tackles coming in thick and fast. The yellow cards being banished by the referee. Foul on Kapinga. Kinito receiving the yellow card. Joaquim Marcos. Kinito. Andy Lejali needs to perhaps still make a little bit more inroads, but then that would expose Sundowns a lot more. Liao and Onyango on the score sheet. Ball gone to the left-hand side. Quality ball. Lekay has really delivered the ball, the set pieces, and it's resulted in the goals. Onyango. Sundowns need to be patient. Serino is not putting enough pace on that. Kapinga trying to make that turn. It's hacked away by Pinto. It's no man's land. Dennis Onyango playing as a keeper sweeper. Sundowns push the men forward. They've got to be careful of the transitional play. Maybe getting the numbers for Pedro Pinto. Quite intelligent players in Kinito and Pinto, but it's Eric, Marcus and Augusto tend to also push up. Not forgetting Gleason. Jaredi has given way. 64th minute goal is what Pedro is happy about at this moment. Sundowns probing. Small passes for Sundowns, trying to draw out a very, very disciplined Pedro side. Look at the numbers in defense. Look at the spaces between the players in defense. Very, very compact, making sure that if the one makes the mistake, there is the other to tidy up. And the race is on. That's Tapelo Morena. I'll say, let's bring it on. He's got some fine speed. Shalulile laying it off for Safranco. Referee is having none of it. Kinito trying to draw the attention. Perform. There'll be a lot of breaking play. So Gusto finds himself in the park. Down he goes. Very, very easy. Still down, chewing the precious moments. Is Augusto Pinheiro. One minute he was holding his hammy. The next minute he's getting the miracle spray on the ankle. 80 minutes on the clock. Sundowns need 2 goals to avoid a penalty shootout. Wrap this game up, but if they get another goal, we will go to a penalty shootout. You can see that all he wants is for his charges to execute the plan. Pedro's gone into a very, very defensive mind. Bringing on Anderson. Fresh pair of legs. And Simao into the side. Hoping to keep Sundowns on the back foot. Ball still in the box and hacked away. Anywhere will do. Sundowns need to get the big boys forward. Rishi and Reuck came very close moments earlier. Very rare moment for Sundowns where they got the big boys up front. This is another moment. Reuck would need to deliver the quality. Reuck is in the box. Onyango is in the box. Tapelo Morena. It's Andile Jali who will tidy up for Sundowns. Ball comfortably into the hands of Wellington. Setif, ES Setif have qualified for the semi-finals. So have Al Ali. Tomorrow we will get to see who will win between Wydad and Beluzat. At this moment, if the game had to end as is, it will be the team from Angola progressing. All the fouls that are being blown is just stopping Mamelodi Sundowns in their track. Shalulile is the man being held back in his tracks, and guilty party is none other than Suarez de Silva. Keeper Wellington organizing his wall. Safranco and Shalulile plotting. Referee wants the players to get behind the line. Breaking play, stop-start from Petro. Sundowns have it all to do. Played short. Oh! Idea was excellent. It just didn't come off for that man. Reuck apologizes. Do we see a dejection? Do we see disappointment in the face of Reuck? Do we see a player giving up? That face tells a story. It's not over until it's over. Another change, it's Viniho, who's about to make his way on. Gleason is the player to come off as Victor is out to shut the back door for Pedro. To Reuck, Sundowns. Requested to defend. Morena, that ball just ricocheting off the foot of Morena. These late stages, definitely not wanting to give a corner, and it's from set pieces that they had a goal disallowed. The medical team are very quick onto the park, wanting to stretcher the player off. Gusto is receiving treatment. There's a lot of argy-barginess happening in that area. The medical team showing a bit of urgency in wanting to get the player off. These are all the tactics that are seen on the continent. The player needs to be stretched off. There's no time, as 5 minutes is what it is for Mamelodi Sundowns to get the much-needed goal that will send this game into a penalty shootout. Tesema is aware of the delaying tactics. It's the last 5 minutes for Mamelodi Sundowns as we get to see the players being stretched off.
Jalo Sekutlo. Momento to Nyabo fellow. Kapasa Petro di Luanda. Adabona Sekutlo Seo Bagustaga Telense Jambas Rumela Ama. Ayatar la tenis Onyango. Lelake. Arumela Jala Terra Bagosana Tiene. Penetana kotsi fela a boe tswela ka kwa ntle sia jalo khosana le bogama boe ya rometse la le fela a gore ga thari mo go yone kgileo le bo maboe setsana le karata tshwara dino Wellington Gomez Canairo o boela mo motshamekong bao ke baagi ba naga ya Angola ba ba mo Aforika Borwa bona balatedi ba Sundowns ba itshwere metlhagare ga ba dumele ba ratile balatedi ba Sundowns ba na kgwele ba tshamekela mo go tennis Onyango a tlhoame ya beile fela mo tshupanakong jaanong le fa ke solofela gore re a go nna le metsotso e le mmalwa ya tlaleletso Peter Shalulile wa itsile le gore tshwanetse ka ba nusitse mo karolong ya ntlha ya motshameko fela fa o no simologa ba letswe jalo ke go nosa la K tota e ka wala Peter Shalulile wa lebela Gomez Wellington a romela le telele thula jalo ke tlhogo ya ga Franco ya bogala ke andile jali ko morago wa le bandile ba le ba ka phileo bona Mamelodi Sundowns Franco Sundowns ba gana ko morago Reuck the right andile jalo la K yalwa Saliba robo le tota mo tshimologong ya karolo ya bobedi ya motshameko setlhopha sa Mamelodi Sundowns andile jalo o batla sa Franco thula ka tlhogo kwa morago Canairo e tsa jalo mo tseleng ya ga Serino Casten Serino bona ba dira phoso setlhopha sa Sundowns a re bona re batla dirang fela a ba mo apara kwa morago le ka bona la Simao a re romela kwa pele Sundowns tsena ka lebaka sola le tene a ba isira kwa morago Wellington Gomez metsotso e le somaro bongwe fedile re tsenyetswa metsotso e le supa tla gopola gore re emisiwa jalo ke tshwetso ya VAR fela Sundowns e ka dira sengwe fa Canairo a rona le kgokego ya mesifa kete Serino mo thutse wa emelela Canairo a re bone kgweleo andile jale Reuck ba le ka go dirisa la K yo di romelang ka botlhale kwa pele thula ka tlhogo ba ya tlarela Wellington na ithutse le bo maboye ba ya ka Wellington Simao Arbone Sundowns Reuck ayethola Sundowns fella fa atsela ya Sundowns e fella fa line wa romela sireletsa ba ka sekhutlho Suarez Sundowns ba diragatsa phetogo Nkolese ba tsena le ba mapo e utswile ba romela kgwele bona Sundowns fela ba kgona go isireletsa kwa morago le bo mapoe Onyango Reuck tsela ka kwa ntle kgwele eo Afonso yena go tlosa kgwele eo wa lebela Afonso o ya kgele tlhogo tsereganyo ka phoso kgatlhanong le Mamelodi Sundowns tse ya tsamanako re a re lebile motsotso wa bone ba nako ya metsotso e le supa re a re lebile metsotso e le mene ya metsotso e le supa Afonso mo kgweleng wa romela Afonso ga ba yo kwa pele Sundowns ba etsa bonolo kwa mogwandile jali ba go batla jalo Peter Chalolile ba ithula kwa morago ba tswagane kwa morago mona wa William Suarez fela Sundowns ba bua ka dithapelo borena Roshen Andile jali wa romela Andile kwa pele a re bone Kanyero a ba ba ka kwanta kwa ntle ke botshabelo re a lebile motsotso wa botlhano wa metsotso e le supa le sa dikapinga bona ba romela kwa pele tsela ka le ba go sola le tene wa gana kwa morago mona wa Petro a re bone Thiago ba mafafatse matsereganyareng ba re pos letsapa la iponatsa mo batshameking ba setlhopha sa Petro di Luanda Mese e tla pele phitlhelelo e sengana ka sepe mo setlhopheng se ba ba fenya ditshimega tsa 2016 Mamelodi Sundowns o emeletse Thiago ba go e tlosa kgwele ba etsa ba e romela be ya go tswela ka kwa ntle fetoga go nna goal kick Onyango go e tlosa kwa morago kgweleo wa lebela Dennis o e tlhabela kwa pele Dennis the goat a re bona re batla dirang kwa morago sireletsa o e baka kwa ntle le ka bona la Kenny Tobalanga ba ya kgile Sundowns ba leka go ya kwa pele bona la K a ba feta line wa go e romela a ba e romela line tsela ka le ba go sola le tene ba thula ba sireletsa re mo motsotsong wa botlhano le halofo ba metsotso e le supa re bona re batla dira mo kgweleng eo thapelo morena wa e romela tlhogo kwa morago ba gana Petro ba e rola re bona ba tla dira ngana Simao fela Sundowns ba tsika loto la K a ba e romela thula ka tlhogo gape kwa morago ya bogala kene line ntwa e fa motwetso ba e romela kwa pele sa Franco a bo e tswela ka kwa ntle ba tlhoka lesego sa Mamelodi Sundowns re a lebile motsotso wa borataro wa metsotso e le supa re sa tsika motsotso e dira disekente di le soma marataro disekente di le soma marataro a ke bua lona di ntse a fokotsega Lala K Mamelodi Sundowns line wa go e romela line ba re wa romela ba tsika loto tswela ka kwa ntle kgweleo wa go ya gape la K wa ya kgile line wa e tshamekela mo Andile jali e lebella Chupanako wa e romela Andile tsena ka le ba go sola le tene ona sa Franco Peter Chalolile e be tswa mo karolong ya kotsi e tabogela gape ke line sengwe le sengwe se ka diragala fa wa romela line wa gana Petro kwa morago tatlhelo disekente di fedile di le tharo a ikitla e be feta go godimo ga dikota Sundowns ya go tlosa kwa morago tennis Onyango o ithuma kwa pelelene metsotso e le supa e fedile Sundowns a ya tlhatswa Sundowns a e tswa mo kgaisanong Petro di Luanda a sutlela go se ka makgaola kganyeng a re bone seo Wellington Gomez o e tlhomile kwa morago a re bone Wellington nako nngwe le nngwe mona wa Ethiopia fa go nna jalo a ba kokomosa mafatla a iletsa lekgetlo la ntlha la bobedi la boraro o ka bokhutlo jwa motshameko seo se raya gore banna ba ka kwa Angola a sutlela kwa se ka makgaola kganyeng a sejana sa CAF Champions League ba dira jalo ka go tshameka maleka le setlhopha sa Mamelodi Sundowns ka nno e le nngwe go setlhopha ba nosa ka thako ya penalty ka thako ya ka Tiago Azualo a nosa ka thako ya penalty le Sundowns le bone a nositse jalo nno e le ntle mo karolong ya bobedi ya motshameko ba tswa ka difatlhego di ripame ba tswa ka kutlwa botlhoko nna le wena re dirile mothwetso ke tshwanetse di tswang re bo re kopana gape mo nakong e tlang Steve Komphela o tshologa kgodi e kgibidi.
Mzansi football is about to change forever.
Football is freedom. Let's just go there and enjoy ourselves. Let's play. There's nothing impossible. We just go there and win the game.
Crunching tackles and lightning pace have a new face. Istende, Zamaya, and Ishibobo will be executed with perfection. Tactics will come alive with excellence and precision, just by the players you're yet to meet. Our names will be known from KwaZulu to the Free State. Our names will be praised from the Table Mountain to the hills of Venda. Because this time around, we, the women of Mzansi, take to the field. We're taking Itisti to new heights. Our home is football, and we love it here.
Double save!
Catch all the action of the Hollywood Bets Super League live on SABC 1, S3, DTT, and also available on Telkom 1. SABC Sport is the home of football.
6:30 only on 2.
Heavy is the head that wears the crown, and no one understands this better than our very own African champ that enters the football pitch. The champion. The one that celebrates in victory with pride and also loses with honor. The one that never surrenders and never backs down. The entertainers, the crowd pleasers. Witness the triumph of the 2021-2022 Total Energies CAF Champions League and CAF Confederations Cup. Live on SABC Sport channels, SABC TV channels, and SABC radio stations in your language of choice. This season, we are #Crowning Champions, and we love it here. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
A somber mood and perhaps a humbling of such. It's Mamelodi Sundowns. They're out of the CAF Champions League, unable to make it to the next stage, unable to beat Petro de Luanda. That man right there, managing, of course, to mastermind a beating of a team that is not easy to beat on the African continent. Never mind in the DSTV Premiership. Dos Santos will sleep tonight, knowing very well that he did the one thing that no team has ever done: come to South Africa and win when Sundowns have lost away. They celebrate, they're excited, they're happy, they've earned it. In a game that was riddled and filled with many discussion points in VAR, some even in tears from the game they've just played. Oh, that somber mood carries on here in studio. You're going to see a very arched over Hlompo Kekana when you do finally get to sight of him there.
Wow.
Who can't wait to get into it. But before we get into the many VAR checks that had this game gone 7 minutes way after the 90 minutes gone, Sundowns are out of the CAF Champions League. That is official. They will have to wait for another season in order to get to where the likes of Peter Musimane with his Al-Ahly and ES Setif have been able to get to. Mankale, no, actually, let me come to where the emotions are raw.
Yeah.
Hlompo, Sundowns are out.
Very disappointing to our nation, because we we're having so much hope on Mamelodi Sundowns to lift our flag in the continent. I think from the beginning, as I said, it's a game where small chances matters, and today we saw the evidence of that, where there weren't clear chances where we can really say it, this one was clear. There were those,
Sundowns illusion guy.
we lost it from the beginning, where we had so much position in wrong areas, as Pomozo mentioned, that we had so many positions where we couldn't head the opposition, and that's good for the opposition to wait for us to come into their box, which we didn't do in many occasions. We saw the visuals where we turned their defenders.
Yeah,
they were in 6 and 7s. They don't want to be turned. Any defender will tell you, Pomozo will tell, they don't want to be turned and defend their facing their own goal. But we did that in patches, which allowed Petro to gain confidence to say, well, we are in it. If we go 20 minutes without conceding, then we are in it. We might as well snatch a goal here and then go home.
It is that goal that sank the boat. That is Mamelodi Sundowns after they'd been leading 1-0. Pomozo, 90 minutes wrap.
I think when you look at the 90 minutes wrap, I think I'll go to the planning of the two technical teams. You look at Petro, they didn't change the lineup.
Same 11 that started.
Same 11 that started in Angola.
Angola
is the same 11 that started today. Mamelodi Sundowns, on the other hand, they make 4 changes to the team. When you make 4 changes to the team, let's look if those changes that they made affected the team positively or negatively. Number 1, Ralani comes into the team today. He replaces a Serino. 65 minutes, Ralani is on the pitch. He did not create much. He did not find spaces in behind the defense. He did not find spaces in between the lines. No space in the pockets. No creativity from him. He's one of the changes that is made in the starting lineup today. Maema also gets an opportunity to play in today's game. Now, you don't buy experience. I think it's experience. Does Ralani have Champions League experience? The answer is no. Does Maema have Champions League experience? The answer is no. Yes, they will only get experience when they're on the field of play.
Yeah.
This game is a once-off. There's no margin for error in the game. Yes, great decision to bring in Reuck in today. He brought in a lot of stability. Mamelodi Sundowns looked solid when the crosses were coming in. Positional play from the 2 centre-backs were better today. Only disappointment in the 90 minutes is that Andy Lejali most probably touched the ball the most. But his passes were sideways or backwards. Not a lot of penetrative passes from Andy Lejali. Not a lot of passes to be able to find a Themba Zwane, a Maema, or a Shalulile. He was not making those kind of passes. That is the problem that happened with Mamelodi Sundowns today. Also, some people would tell you, you cannot play with the same tempo. They were playing with the same tempo throughout the game. They are playing with the same tempo throughout the game. There was no time where they turned the defense of Pedro. You saw the Pedro defense panicking. Pinto, Quinto, they were not panicking. They were calm at all times because Sundowns are playing with the same pace at all times.
You mentioned Andy Lejali, and perhaps it's an opportunity here to ask questions on where he had been placed, because Andy Lejali did not place himself there. I mean, we saw him play as deep as sweeper at some point. Pomozo's asking for penetrative passes. Pomozo's asking for forward passes. But the position where Andy Lejali was employed to play today, what do you think of that?
I think it was too deep for my liking, which I believe they have 2 defenders, which is in the Reuck and Mandela, which I believe they are not even picked. The Petro strikers don't press the Sundowns team. And when you build, you're building to absorb the pressure so that you can get the space behind the opposition team. If that opposition team doesn't come, what are you then building? You might as well push.
Because it's to bring them.
It's to bring them. And they are not coming. They are resisting to stay there. So why are you bringing Andy Ledipa? Because you still have 2 center defenders, which is in Reuck and Mandela, which are not picked.
Yeah.
So allow them to bring the ball. Bring Andy Ledipa. Then you're adding numbers. Then you have numbers within around the box of the opposition. Then you're causing problems for opposition. But when you bring Andile with the two defenders, and they're making three, the line of three, which are not picked, Andile is not that kind of a player who play that long 40 meter pass.
Yeah.
He will try to play in short areas. But when you plant him there, he looked fixed for me. And he's that kind of a player who look to combine with Temba. He can't combine when you are stretching the pitch. You can't combine. And you want your creative player in Ralani and Mukwena, Mabuye, Maema to come to the ball and make sure that they are closer to each other. From those triangles,
Skipper, how does Pedro score? They score via a foul that is made by Andile Jali. Where does Andile Jali make the foul?
I want to go to that
the
because
foul
we're going to play that.
Box. Is it familiar territory to find Andile Jali there?
That deep. No. We're going to go to that because we're going to be sharing those moments there. That VAR check that took almost 4 minutes is what we're going to. But let's start with the very first one here, Pomozo. I want to come with them. There was a lot of VAR moments in this match, which essentially decided the match today. Both goals that was disallowed and scored, the penalty that was missed, all of these were VAR moments. Pomozo, talk us through this one as we build up to that goal that sank Sundowns with the Andile Jali. But let's go to this first one here. A VAR moment that the referee from Ethiopia goes to VAR and looks at and makes a decision here. It's a Sundowns penalty. That's how they score their goal.
You know, I got a message from my mom. I got a message from my mom. She says, you know, puka bora and iko jiwa ya umbise ramrao. That's why the game goes on, Andy. The referee doesn't stop the game. Yes, bear in mind that Zwane is fouled in this moment, but the game is still going on. The reason City Lento, the game continues. The ball goes out. Now only later, that is the foul, and this was a brilliant call that was made by the ref. But the question that is asked here, Andile, is Temba Zwane in control of the ball? The answer is yes. Does Kinto touch the ball or touch Zwane? No, the answer is he touches Temba Zwane, doesn't touch the ball. Hence, it was a correct call to say penalty.
Sampo, he misses the penalty, but there was a lot of build-up towards him missing the penalty.
Well, he never looked confident from the beginning. He never looked confident. He never looked like he is the one who wanted to take the penalty. I know Temba, with his facial expression, you'll see how when he's happy, when he's confident enough, he'll take the ball with a smile. But with that incident, I never saw his smile. And I could tell that that's a navy moment for him. But like I said, I'm not a big fan of this VAR. Not at all.
But I mean, VAR worked both ways this time around.
Yeah, well, it makes... I feel sorry for the players, you know, to wait for that long for referees to make decisions. Where are the emotions of the game? You get what I'm saying? So there's moment where they will have to wait for that long. For the decision of Petro, we waited for 4 minutes. What is 4 minutes does to players? When you standing there, you cold in this weather. I believe that could have been it could have been done better.
Chief, you know, Captain, what happens at Sundowns more than most. You played with 80% of these players here. Like, he goes there and he takes the ball. Temba Zwane walks away from everything that's happened, the penalty spot behind him. That's the man that one would have thought takes the penalty. What happens here? Talk to me about what's going on there at the moment.
Looking at the whole situation, I see Lake as a very confident player who took the ball away from the Ngolians. He's looking to the penalty, and I can see when he's looking at Temba Zwane, they having got chat. Temba could tell that it's nothing to say. No, you can go ahead and take it. But
so then
later,
is it the bench? Is it who then says no, Temba, you have to take it?
For sure, the bench made that call. Looking at the way Lyle is even showing there, you can see the way he's...
But here is where you need leaders. The bench is no more there.
For sure.
On that moment, Temba Zwane does not feel confident. There's 2 players that are feeling confident. Now, that's where you need the senior players. But somebody reminds Temba to say, a change room, but tell Tata a change room. But he had walked away. It's not that he does not know. He does know. But penalties, that's why they say penalties, even if it's penalty shootout, Andile, the coach can never say, Andile are taking the first penalty, Trump the second penalty. The coach says, penalty number 1. I'm confident. I'll take the first one.
Yeah. It's a
penalty
game,
number 2.
It's a game of instincts.
It's instinct.
How you feel.
It's how you are feeling in the game. Temba's only
and
might
in
be,
that instant,
in
Laila K was number 1 up front. Mabue was number 2. Shalulile even goes to Temba to say, hey, what's going on with you? So you're 3 players.
Now, here's the thing. Laila K had asked Temba. There's where Temba nods and says, it's fine.
But I see Andile Jali standing on the arch there. No, he's the captain on the day. Could he be the one that says, no, man, Temba, I'm an Hamba?
No, he did try to encourage Temba to say, we're behind you, go. But you can tell by the facial expression of Temba that he's not confident. And that's when you mentioned senior players to come in and to say, no, Temba, if you're not feeling it, step away. Let somebody who's confident take it. And you can tell by the facial expression there, I was not convinced with Temba's face.
Well, that's the VAR call there that worked out in the favor of Sundowns. They get that penalty. They aren't able to do good on it. But that wasn't the only one. It went on again, and there was another VAR call. This time around, Sundowns. One would have thought, oh, man, here it goes. You've scored the goal already, but you are now going to be working backwards because you've conceded a goal. At some point, we even questioned Dennis Onyango on this one. But a good call.
Yeah, a brilliant call by the ref. And I think first time looking at it, you don't see it. But there's a foul on the left hand of Dennis Onyango. It's hand to hand. Can you see Pinto in that moment? He touches Dennis Onyango's left. Yes, it's left arm. Look at the left arm. Both left arms, they are in contact. Now remember that the goalkeeper has got advantage. He's allowed to use his hands. Now the defender in Pinto is not allowed to use his hands. And this was a brilliant call again from Impimpi to VAR. And South Africans were happy. Sundowns could have considered a goal that was not supposed to be a goal. Great call by VAR in this instance.
Well, here's the last one, the VAR moment that the country will be talking about. Andile Jali sliding in the box. This is the one that took 4 minutes, and that's what you're complaining about. To say in that 4 minutes, I'm getting cold, emotions are here and there. It was a long call. But when you look at what happened, perhaps the right call to wait that long, because Andile Jali sliding in the box there.
Yeah, well, you can tell that Andile, that's not where he's supposed to be. As Pumuzo said, he's not familiar with the territory, with the where he was. You can see he's just going there to defend. But there you need your intelligent defenders who will come and stay on your ground. Make sure that you don't open your legs. But when you go down, you're inviting problems. And this is the game of Champions League where like I said, major narrow margins where you don't see it, they take it.
When you're looking at that moment, Andile, I was worried. It took 3 minutes 55 seconds. That's nearly 4 minutes for the ref to go check. And I was worried. I was happy that he's not going to check, because once he went to check, there's two questions that you ask. Was Moreira in control of the ball? It's yes. Does Andile Jali get the man or the ball? Andile Jali gets the man.
Nowhere near the ball.
Nowhere near the ball.
Smart enough to put himself between the ball.
Moreira was looking for the foul. He waited, he exposed the ball a little bit. As soon as he attempted to tackle, he put his foot there. But the key is the referee checks if he got the ball or the man. And in that instance, he got the man. Correct call to say it's a penalty.
Well, the goal did come from Sundowns' point of view, but I mean, it really didn't matter in the greater scheme of things. Once again, we mentioned about how difficult Sundowns are to play when you do have them, give them a set piece. They scored through a set piece even in the game before this.
Well, looking at the Angolans, the way they are so big, you can tell that you think they are very strong aerially. But looking the way they defended from the first round, which is the first leg in Angola until today, they are suspect when it comes to set pieces. The goalkeeper here, for me, could have done better, to be honest. This is a catching practice for him. But what can we say?
You always say to any young goalkeeper watching, parry the ball to the side. Don't parry the ball back into play. Lima, in this instance, he parries the ball back into play, gives a second opportunity to Mamelodi Sundowns, which Brian Onyango gladly takes in this moment, gives Mamelodi Sundowns the lead. The big question after taking this lead was, how are Mamelodi Sundowns going to behave? Are they going to continue to attack, or they're going to sit and be nervous about the lead that they have? And they couldn't manage the game through domination of ball position. They couldn't manage the game through a low block. They cracked at some point, and it had to be given via VAR with the penalty that Andile Jali conceded.
We're going to go to a wide shot now, because I want to tell a story of the man on the far left who's got a big smile on his face because he's just seen a good game. He's got no interest either way. He's just seen a good game, and he's smiling. The man in the middle, whose eyes are saying, I want to cry. Tomorrow, we switch it around. That man sitting on the far left will be the nervy one. He'll be the one that's worried. He'll be the one that can't talk, or will celebrate at the end. Orlando Pirates, Simba, live.
The legendary Petro Msimani, who won back-to-back Champions League, said, CAF Champions League, it only starts in the knockout stages. He won. He's in the semi-final.
Sampo, it's a morobala now.
We gotta get
out of here. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. We're back tomorrow. Remember, there's women's football early on with Paulie. You can catch that, and then later on in the evening, it's a big one. A lot of Pirates take on the Simba. From all of us here, Pomozo Manete. We've also got, of course, Shompo Kekan and myself, Andrew, and the entire SABC Sports team. Thank you. Pella. And so, Alexas.